This is Melissa Ford-Luckin.
Rosalie Petrowski.
Susan, Seraph, and Jess.
Editors for the Washington Square Review.
Washington Square On Air
Showcases the poetry and fiction
Of the latest edition of LCC's literary journal,
the Washington Square Review,
read by the poets
authors,
and editors themselves.
expect the unexpected,
as our contributors express
Experience and fantasy with humor,
imagination,
poetic license.
irony,
and passion.
If you love language,
at its most original.
Please join us in our audio town square
to celebrate a community of writers
Spanning from around the world
to Lansing.
Hey there, this is Melissa Ford-Luckin, editor of the Washington Square Review. I'm here today with Zied and Kelon, a couple of my students. So tell us a little bit about how you got here. Where were you going to school before?
I'm from the Lansing area, so I was going to school at one of the Lansing schools, Everett High School. Not really a good school, just all around bad people, bad influences. I mean, the teachers were okay, but I wouldn't really recommend going to that school.
Was it a big school? Did it feel like there were a lot of students there?
Yeah, too many students. I feel like a lot of students transferred from other schools just to go to that school. Don't really know why, but
Okay. When you say bad people and bad influences, what kind of stuff are you talking about?
a lot of unfortunate things like fighting, people bringing weapons. They had to even bring metal detectors into the school just to stop some of the stuff from happening. So
How do you feel like that affected you, like your ability to learn and go to class?
In class, when you would see people running in the hallways, running to the fights, I mean, you would maybe want to get up and go, but I usually stayed out of everything, stayed in class, did my work, got it done, finished it.
The stuff you're describing, did that distract you from your learning? How did you deal with that?
Usually I just drowned it out, AirPods, headphones, doing schoolwork and stuff.
Okay. And how many years were you at the school?
From 7th to 12th.
Okay.
So.
Okay. What about
high
you?
school career.
I started off with Coldwater High School. It's like an hour drive from here. And it was a decent school. I wouldn't say it's too bad, but other than that, it's been a nice school over there.
Talk a little bit more about it. Was it a big school? How many people were in the class? And
Nah, it was a decent size. I wouldn't say it's like the biggest school, but it was like an average size school. There was around 24 people in the classroom at all times, mostly, but some people would always skip. We didn't have people blocking off the doors. We'd just walk out and they wouldn't say anything. So
okay, so there was no attendance policy?
no, there was an attendance policy,
But it wasn't enforced?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you think that affected you?
I wouldn't say so. I never used to skip that much. I would once in a while, but not every day, constantly, like other people used to do.
Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about the classes you took.
Classes, the teachers were nice. They were okay. They weren't too bad. As long as you didn't do anything to them or say anything dumb. Teacher wouldn't get mad. She was always nice. They were always nice, all of them.
So it was a pretty positive, relaxed kind of atmosphere. All right. What about writing assignments? Anything that you guys remember from writing?
No, not really. None of them come to mind. We didn't really do that much. I mean, they gave us small assignments to do. I don't even remember when I took English. I know I took it all 4 years except for my senior year. Yeah, I took it all 4 years except for my senior year, since we had a thing called CTE.
Okay. Was it an English class?
No, CTE.
Career thing?
My CTE, yeah.
Okay.
My CTE was a business program. So,
Okay, career technical, something like that?
Yeah. I didn't have to take English or math my senior year.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was designed maybe to help you think about what you wanted to do for a career or something?
Yeah, and it also gave me college credits for all of it.
Okay.
Yeah, we had something like that. It was called BACC, where we just leave the school and go to a different college. It was like a starter college for high school students.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't too bad. It was a nice spot where you could learn business, computer networking, and other stuff like that. Welding, I think, was an option as well.
Okay. How did you decide to come here to LCC?
I decided after I dropped out of my college over there, KCC, because I was messing around. I wasn't showing up to any of the classes. I started failing the grades because
Was that partly because of COVID, do you think?
No, I wouldn't blame COVID for that. It was just me getting out and going everywhere and forgetting about my assignments.
What happened? You just weren't ready, or you didn't see it was important, or what? You just had other things to do?
I would say I wasn't ready. Like after high school, I was like, I just finished high school. I don't feel like doing KCC right after that. I want to take a little break. But I ended up failing because of that. But then I ended up transferring to LCC.
How long of a pause was it between?
I think it was like 2 semesters.
Okay.
It was around 2 semesters, not too long.
And so you decided to try again, try here. What do you think's different about you now?
I'd say that there's nowhere I could go, and I don't know other areas, so I'm just stuck doing my homework and staying at home.
All right, that's legitimate. What about you, Kelon? How'd you decide to come here?
Since I was in the Lansing School District all my life, I kind of got, what is it called? The little scholarship thing where I could come to LCC, I think for free, or
was it Hope Scholarship?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got that. Decided to come to LCC. I might go do a trade school. I don't know, but
okay.
I feel like LCC was the best road to go down starting.
Okay, that makes sense. Did you see an academic advisor when you came in?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm wondering what kind of classes did you register for, and how did you make the decision? Like, how did you pick what you picked?
So I registered for 2 classes, and they made me take another one, to help with the composition class.
Okay.
I also took psychology, or I'm taking psychology.
Okay. How's that going?
It's a pretty good class, pretty easy.
Is that online or in person?
In person.
Okay.
I actually would recommend everyone to take it. It's kind of like a free credit with how easy it is. So.
Okay, must be interesting though, learning about psychology.
Yeah, I might actually change my major to psychology.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. What about you? Did you see an academic advisor? How did you make the course selections that you did?
I just had my sister helping me with that.
Okay.
she usually does it. She's already in MSU, so she's just teaching me the basics and tells me what to do. Mm-hmm. So now I got everything down. I should be good. I think I spoke to an advisor and then had to get my financial aid in and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. Was it complicated doing all the forms and the registering?
The forms, yeah, but I had help, so it wasn't too bad.
Your sister helped you?
Yeah.
Okay. What other classes are you taking?
I'm taking sociology, English comp, and another English class.
Okay.
Integrated reading and writing.
Talk a little bit about that class.
The sociology one?
The INRW, Integrated Reading and Writing, and how it kind of fits in with the Composition 1 class.
It fits in because most of the work that we're doing is over there. It's like one whole class. That's what it's basically like. It's just like one class put together.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's designed that way. It's part of a national trend. Accelerated learning is what they used to call it because they take 2 semesters of work and tuck it into 1 semester. So you're taking the 2 classes at the same time. The way the system used to be was that people would take the INRW 1 semester and then the next semester they take the other class. But the idea is, like you're saying, you kind of mash them together and it all just feels like one class, and it is supposed to all blur together because the content is the same. You just get to take more time to do it and you get more resources and stuff. Kelon, what do you think about it?
It's
a lot of work.
It's an interesting class. I mean,
it is a lot of work because you're in class talking about reading and writing for like 2 hours with me and then 2 hours more. So that's a lot.
Yeah. The assignments is cool though. Kind of easy, repetitive a lot. So we can get them done pretty quickly.
Yep. Yeah, they're designed to reinforce the kind of stuff that we're doing in our class.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about our class. Tell me about one of the essays that you wrote that you think back on.
I think my favorite essay that I wrote is the Black Ops 2 versus Black Ops 3 essay.
Okay.
The one about Black Ops 3 being better than Black Ops 2 Zombies.
Okay, talk some more about that.
Overall, I kind of love doing it since I didn't really need to do a lot of research. I kind of had it all in my head about why it was better, reasons, stuff like that. Also, my experience playing both games since I've played both of them. And I might be the only person that think this, but I personally think Black Ops 3 is way better than Black Ops 2.
I don't have an opinion. Do you have an opinion about that?
I don't really. 'Cause
Okay,
I
so
don't
in this
understand
room,
that much.
yeah, we can just agree and support.
Yeah.
So our third essay, the one that you're talking about, is a pop culture essay where students identify an artifact or a trend in pop culture and then they analyze it. Part of that was the discourse analysis. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's what you were talking about, where some people were thinking one thing and you thought the other.
Yeah, like I got my analysis from a TikTok video. Everybody in the comments were like saying that Black Ops 3 zombies were better than Black Ops 2 zombies. That I agreed with. The video overall itself was which game was better. The creator was kind of biased towards Black Ops 2, saying Black Ops 2 zombies was better, and everybody in the comments didn't really agree with that. Me either. Most of the comments were like, they were saying Black Ops 3 were better, but they weren't giving like actual reasons as to why.
That's a valid observation for sure. What are your reasons?
Black Ops 3 has better Easter eggs, better maps, better weapons, better camos, and better movement and better graphics overall. So the quality is better. The game's more appealing to play.
But the zombies, what do you have to say about those?
Basically almost everything I just said, because the zombies have different Easter eggs, way better. They made the graphics for the zombies look better too. And the storyline, like the story mode, is pretty much just way better.
All right. What about you? Tell us about one of the essays that you wrote.
It was about one of the LCC's old venues, about how they should bring back the old ones.
Okay, talk some more about that.
So where I got the idea was one of my friends, I think it was it you that was talking about like the pizza or something? And then I searched it up and we had some old venues.
Yes, in Gannon there used to be a lot more food options.
Yeah, and then I heard they took it down because of COVID, and they brought Grab and Go, which is some fresh food. I read a comment on one of the websites. It called it gas station food. It wasn't me that said it, but I
That
read
was
it
part of
and
the discourse, I understand.
yeah, but other than that, my topic was about how they should bring it all back, the Pizza Hut and the other stuff. If they don't want to bring it back, I was going to say they should at least bring some newer ones in, or at least update it, because just one grab and go is not that much.
Well, it makes sense. As you said, you're not from around here, so you don't know where any local restaurants are. So you're dependent on what we have here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. So when you think about the writing that we do in class and you think back to your high school experience, how do you see the work that you did in high school preparing you for college, or what do you think was missing that you would have benefited from?
So I graduated during high school, like during COVID, when COVID hit. So I didn't have like a graduation and we couldn't prepare. Usually they would prepare us like towards the end of high school, telling us about FAFSA and other stuff that we should apply for. But since I graduated during COVID, most of the students didn't know anything about it. But I got lucky. I had my sister helping me out with that. So
That's true. Yeah. Talk a little bit about what it was like for your COVID education experience. What did that look like?
COVID education. Some people got lucky and said it was a free pass. They wouldn't have graduated without COVID.
Very guilty.
How were the lessons delivered? Was it online? Did you have video lectures?
They wanted us to do some online homework, but it wasn't required. I don't know why they were handing it out. They just wanted us to do it, even though it wasn't required. So other than that, everybody passed my class.
Did you do any writing?
I didn't. No.
All right. So you don't have anything to compare to what we're doing.
Yeah,
here on
it wasn't
campus.
required, so I didn't want to touch it.
Okay. What about you?
COVID year, that might have been like one of the best years for me, because for a few reasons. Class was super easy. Like all the online class, it was like pretty simple, easy to get through, had a lot of resources. Also, for me, it was when I started getting my dreads, so my hair looked kind of crazy. I was kind of bald. So since I didn't go outside much because it was COVID,
That makes sense.
it was all able to grow. So pretty good year for me. Got all my work done, got all the credits.
Okay. Talk a little bit about what the assignments were like.
Um,
Was there any writing? That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, there was some writing. We had an English class. Most of the time it was like read something and then kind of analyze, kind of summarize. We did some books. We did a book called Jane Eyre.
Yeah.
That was a nice book.
What'd you like about it?
I like the storyline. I feel like it was one of them books like you could visualize, and every assignment you did with the book, it kind of made you want to like keep going and want to keep doing it.
Okay. We read a book in our class, Interior Chinatown. I know that seems like a lifetime ago. How does that compare to Jane Eyre?
Interior Chinatown, it was an okay book. I kind of felt connected to it since it was about a minority, and I'm also a minority, so it was like kind of clicked for me. Also, what he was going through, where he was at, his situation. He was trying to get out of the stereotypes. I feel like that's kind of like me trying not to be a stereotype. So, nice book. I like the assignments we did too. The discussions, the abstracts, I like those. They're pretty simple, pretty easy to do. And as long as you paid attention and read the book, then it was pretty simple.
Yeah, the abstracts were short paragraphs talking about what happened to the book and what you thought about it. How'd you feel about the book?
Honestly, the book confused me at the start.
It was confusing.
It was talking about like how it was like a whole act. It was new to me. I'd never read a book like that before. It was a good book once I started getting used to the acts and everything of like telling what's in the movie and what's not in the movie. After I got used to that, the book was amazing.
So would you recommend the book to somebody else?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you just want to let them know that it's going to be confusing in the beginning?
It will be confusing at the start.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Around 3-4 pages, but you'll get used to it.
So when you think about your growth as a writer over this semester and you reflect back on the essays that we wrote, what kind of stands out to you? Like, how did you evolve as a writer or as a researcher?
I realized that there was more options to look for articles and stuff, like through the LCC library or the database. And there was more ways to do it. Because at the beginning, I didn't know about the research database.
It's very extensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you talk about more places to look, so you've got the database, where else?
The Google Scholar. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Until I was in this class, and then I figured it out.
Yeah. So that's basically just like what they call like regular Google, only you just type in Google Scholar and then it'll take you to scholarly works.
I mean, some of them are locked in Google Scholar, so you have to pay for them, but...
Well, if you find ones that are locked, you can go to the LCC library and ask them to help you get the article. Yeah. What about you? How do you see yourself growing as a writer over the semester?
When I came in, some of the like work was really hard. I didn't understand it. Felt like I needed a lot more help, but
what stands
overall,
out to you that was kind of confusing or that was a barrier?
Citations, in-text citations.
Yeah.
Pretty difficult. Also, just like formatting, like MLA and paragraph. What's the word I'm looking for?
Topic sentences, paragraph structure.
Structure, yeah, paragraph structure. That was kind of difficult, but after a few visits to the writing center and working on work in the classes, I felt like I got it down packed. My next essay, or the third essay that we're doing, I felt like it was pretty easy ever since like going to the writing center, getting my paragraph structured, and doing all the research.
Yep. The in-text citations, it's one of those things that's easy to explain, but then when you go to do it, it's way more complicated when you actually try to make it happen in front of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. The citations and the paragraphing, is that new stuff to you?
The citations? No, not really. Paragraphs, yeah, but in high school, I didn't really like pay attention. I mean, I came to the English class, but it wasn't really like focusing since English isn't my strong suit.
What is your strong suit?
History.
Okay, talk a little bit about that.
I love history classes. Like history itself, just I see something with history and I want to like dig deeper and continue to look up stuff for it. Always got good grades in history classes too. Also, I would say science and like space. That's also my strong suit, especially astronomy, stuff like that.
Nice. What about you? What are you thinking your strong suits are?
I would say math. I've been used to math. I don't know why. Me and my family as well, they're good with math. But yeah, math is probably my strong suit.
Very cool. So when you're not in school, what do you do?
When I'm not in school, I'm either in Detroit or back in my hometown.
Whichever.
Whatever. Like, I either go to my family or I go to Detroit and fix cars.
Okay. Speaking of cars, you wrote about cars in your third essay. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? That's a really good topic.
My topic was about reckless driving and how videos glamorize it and make it seem like it's fun to do when really you're doing it in the middle of a traffic stop and two other cars could be speeding through, which there was a video of two cars racing while a Dodge Challenger was doing donuts at a traffic stop. And they ended up hitting each other.
Well, and you also talked about a famous video that people were recreating.
Oh, yeah. There was a David Dobrik video where he took a Tesla and drove it up this hill as fast as he could, causing it to fly in midair and crash. And people ended up in the comments saying, where's that location, looking for that location so they could recreate it, which was one of my topics about glamorizing it, making it seem fun when really you could just crash a car and hit other people.
How did you decide to select that topic?
I don't know. I was going through a lot of topics, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And then reckless driving just came to mind when I was talking to one of my friends.
Okay. Is that anything you've seen in real life?
Yes.
As a viewer, how did it come across to you in the moment when you saw it happening?
When I saw it happen.
Because the way you describe it, you point out that when people see it in the videos, it looks like there's music, there's lighting, they can put filters on it, they can make it look really, like you said, glamorous. But when you see it in real life,
when I see it in real life, it's like a whole different thing. Because when you're speeding downhill, like I've done it before, I've hit a car or two cars, speeding, drifting. I ended up drifting off a hill because I think that was like my second time trying it out. And it was a narrow street. It wasn't the best area that I was doing it at.
And what prompted you to try it?
What prompted me to try it was, it wasn't a video. It was actually my brother who did it. He did it with the same car, and I thought it looked cool with all the dirt flying up and the smoke and everything. So I decided to try it. I ended up doing it the first time. Second time, I brought my friend. I offered him some cookies. They were homemade cookies. I offered him cookies. He's like, all right. He came out at like 1 o'clock at night. We ended up going downhill. So I went a little too fast and pulling the emergency brake and flying off it, hitting a tree.
Okay. I'm probably not the best person to evaluate, the safety of that stuff. My grandfather was a NASCAR racer. And so I grew up hearing a lot of like racing stories and understanding the mechanics of the car and seeing what the car can do. From that perspective, that's worthwhile and interesting. So when I hear you talking about the essay, you're separating off the desire to see what limits the car has from risking other people's lives.
Yeah.
Because the glamorizing it is the part that takes it out into the mainstream and invites other people to do it who, and risk other people's safety.
Yeah, I'd also like to mention we didn't have any seatbelts or airbags in that car, which was also a bad thing. Which, yes, we thought seatbelts were not cool, but
I understand. Yes, this is all my way of validating your topic, and I can see why you picked it, because it's something that you yourself have experience with. And a lot of times when you write an essay, it's more compelling if you have a personal connection to it. So let's talk about where you're headed next. What semester awaits you in the future?
Sadly, I got to take a math class.
Okay.
So I think math, biology, and I forgot my other one. It might be sociology, but I don't know. I know for sure biology and math are my classes I have to take, and I have to take one more as well to get all 12 credits.
Okay, that sounds like a good collection. What about you?
I have not spoken to my advisor yet or chosen my classes, but I think on Tuesday I'm going to do the express advising to try getting it in as soon as possible.
Sounds good. If you were going to offer some advice or suggestion or give a piece of information to somebody who is thinking about coming here to LCC, what would you say to them?
Always study. Always, even if you don't want to. I feel like them 2 hours or an hour, that can make a difference, a big difference. And also try to do the work because you can fall behind really quickly.
Yeah, that makes good sense. And, here at LCC, we have a lot of different places where people can study and find a quiet spot.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say you made the right choice. Instead of starting off with the university and them expensive classes, finish your generals here, and then you could go to a university.
Okay. Is that what you plan to do at some point?
Yeah. I plan to transfer to MSU after this.
Okay.
Me?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Depends how the major classes here go.
Okay.
And I kind of like the small classes. I don't like 300 people classes, 400 people classes. It's not suitable for me.
For sure.
Not even 60 people classes.
It's a lot. It's a lot of people in one room.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thanks a lot for coming in and talking to me.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to our talented poets and authors.
Until next time, this has been Washington Square on Air,
where we showcase selections from Lansing Community College's literary journal,
The Washington Square Review,
a publication featuring writers from the Great Lakes State
across the nation
and around the world.
To find out more about the Washington Square Review,
visit lcc.edu/WSR.
We hope you enjoyed listening
as much as we enjoyed sharing.